students of Progress Dynamic International Academy from Nube in Abuja. They are standing. Round of applause for them. Thank you for coming. Kindly take your seats. This announcement is from me. Honorable members from the Northeast, Southwest and South geopolitical zones are invited to join the Honorable Speaker for breaking of fast iftar today, Tuesday, 21st May 2019. Time is 6 p.m. and the venue is the Office of the Speaker, House of Representatives, new building. So members from other zones can as well come. 6 p.m. This announcement is from Honorable Hassan A. Omale and is captioned, Return to All Progressives Party, APC. After a very wide consultations among family members, friends, and party supporters across my constituency and beyond, I finally decided to return to the party we all formed together, All Progressives Party, APC, from Advanced Democratic Congress, ADC. This to enable me carry all my party supporters and followers along as we approach governorship election in Kogi State come November 16, 2019. Thanks as I wish all of us Ramadan Kareem, accept the assurances of my highest esteem. Announcer Honorable Hassan A. Omale. Any member has a petition to present to the House, may please rise to do so. Any petition? I guess there's none. Okay, Honorable Sam Onibu.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, Honorable colleagues. My name is Sam Onibu. I represent the good people of Great Iguano and North and South Federal Constituency from Abia State. Mr. Speaker, I have a petition from one of my constituents, Mr. Amon Omeliho Akoni, of Ama Okoro in Nchara Akano in Iguano local government. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Akoni is appealing to this honorable house to intervene in the case of very long incarceration of his wife, Mrs. Queen Chinoso Akoni. This as a result of the death of a very young child, Michelle, at Brickmass International School, where she was a minder and caregiver. So far, with the result, as stated here, preliminary result, carried out, she was exonerated. But by the time this petition was written, which is on the 9th of this month, the woman had already spent over 53 days in detention. So, Mr. Crowley appeals to this House to intervene in ensuring that the Acting Inspector General of Police ensures the prompt interpretation of the autopsy report, and also to ensure that his wife is released. I therefore seek the approval of Mr. Speaker and the entire House to present the petition.
Please proceed and lay the report. Okay. Yeah. Proceed and lay the petition. It's not a report. Honorable Abonta, please approach the chair. First business of the day is presentation of report of the ad hoc committee to investigate the non-remittance of trillions of naira stamp duties to the Federation account, standing in the name of Honorable Abubakar Yunus Ahmad. Honorable members will recall that the matter was referred to the committee on Thursday, 25th April 2019. Honorable Ahmad is now invited to present the report.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I remain Abubakar Yunus Ahmed, representing the good, the bad, and the ugly people of Yamal Tudeba Federal Constituency, and I am from Gombe State. My motion is that the House do receive the report of the ad hoc committee to investigate the non-remittance of trillions of naira of stamp duties into the Federation account. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Any seconder? Honorable Dambaram Nuhu.
Thank you, my honorable Speaker. Thank you, my honorable colleagues. I remain Honorable Dambaram Abubakar Nuhu, representing Kano Municipal, the only gentleman from the municipality in the whole of the Great Chambers, and I am from Kano State. Mr. Speaker, my honorable colleague, I rise to second that the House will receive the ad hoc committee's report as presented by my able chair, Honorable Abubakar Yunus Ahmed. I so second.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against it say nay. Ayes have it. Second business of the day is presentation of the report of the ad hoc committee to carry out the investigation on the approach for reparations and reparation of historical artifacts carted away from Nigeria. Standing in the name of Honorable Adekwaya Adeshegun Abdulmajid, honorable members will recall that the matter was referred to the committee on Thursday, 8th December 2016. Honorable Abdulmajid is now invited to present the report. Honorable Ataka, Chairman Rules and Business Affairs is now around. You have to move. I said you should proceed and lay the report. What else do you want me to say?
Honorable Speaker, honorable colleagues, in view of the absence of the presenter of this report, Honorable Adekoya Abdulmajid, may I apply to withdraw the report from this presentation? I so apply.
Item stepped down by leave of the House. Third business of the day's presentation report of Committee on Basic Education Services on the bill for Act to amend the Compulsory Free Universal Basic Education Act, Chapter A, 113, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004 to make provisions for rehabilitation of delinquent children, enhancement of the welfare of teachers before states access the federal grant to increase grant of the federal government and reduce that of states governments, and for related matters standing in the name of Honorable Mohammed Zakari. Honorable members will recall that the bill was referred to the committee on Wednesday, 10th May 2017. Honorable Zakari is invited to present the report.
Honorable Speaker, Honorable Zakari is on the floor. May I apply to withdraw this item?
Item stepped down by leave of the House. First order of the day is presentation is the third reading of a bill for an act to provide for establishment of Federal University of Health Science, Otopo, and for related matters. Honorable members will recall that the House adopted the report of the Committee of the Whole on the bill on Thursday, 16th May 2019. I therefore call on the leader of the House to move that the bill be now read the third time. Honorable Monguno.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, my name is Mohamed Tahir Monguno. I represent Martin Monguno, Gaza Federal Constituency, Borno State. I hereby move for a bill for an act to provide for establishment of Federal University of Health Science, Otopo, and related matters be read the third time. I so move.
Chairman, rules of business.
Honorable Speaker, honorable colleagues, may I second the third reading of the bill as moved by the Leader of the House. I so second.
Honorable colleagues, the question is that the bill be now read the third time. Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against it say nay. Ayes have it. Clerk is invited to read the long title of the bill.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, the bill for now to provide for establishment of Federal University of Health Science, Otopo, and for related matters. Third reading.
Okay. That has not distinguished.
Bill read the third time and passed. Second order of the day is the third reading of bill for an act to abolish and prohibit dichotomy and discrimination between first degrees and higher national diplomas in the same profession or for related matters. Honorable members will recall that the House adopted the report of the Committee of the Whole on the bill on Wednesday, 15th May 2019. Therefore, call on the Leader of the House to move that the bill be now read the third time.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, my name is Mohamed Tahir Monguno. I represent Martin Monguno, Gaza Federal Constituency of Borno State. I hereby move for a bill for an act to abolish and prohibit dichotomy and discrimination between first degrees and higher national diplomas in the same profession and for related matters be read the third time. I so move.
Chairman, Rules and Business, please second.
Honorable Speaker, may I second the third reading of the bill as moved by the acting Leader of the House. I so second.
Honorable colleagues, the question is that the bill be now read the third time. Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against it say nay. Ayes have it. Clerk is invited to read the long title of the bill.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, the bill for now to abolish and prohibit dichotomy and discrimination between first degrees and higher national diplomas in the same profession and for related matters. Third reading.
Bill read the third time and passed. Third order of the day is the commencement of debate on the general principles of Bill for an Act to repeal Federal Colleges of Education Act 1986 and enact the Federal Colleges of Education Bill and for related matters, standing in the name of the House Leader. Honorable members will recall that the bill was transmitted from the Senate seeking concurrence of the House, read the first time on Wednesday, 8 May 2019. I invite the Leader to move that the bill be now read the second time.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, my name is Mohamed Tahir Monguno. I represent Martin Monguno, Gaza Federal Constituency of Borno State. I hereby move for a bill for an act to repeal Federal Colleges of Education Act 1986 and enact the Federal College of Education Bill and for related matters be read the second time. I so move.
Chairman, Rules and Business, please second.
Honorable Speaker, may I second the second reading of this bill as moved by the acting Leader of the House. I so second.
Honorable colleagues, okay, Leader, please lead the debate.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, this bill came for concurrence from the Senate, and essentially what this bill seeks to achieve is to repeal the Federal College of Education Act and enact a new act
This is because under the act that is sought to be repealed, there are new colleges of education that were established during the pendency of the act that is sought to be repealed, that were not captured in that act. So essentially what this bill seeks to do is to capture in the schedule all the colleges of education that were established after the enactment of the act that is now subject matter of repeal before this honorable house. And again, with regard to the administration of the colleges of education, after the enactment of the existing act, a provision was made for the office of deputy provost of the colleges of education, of which the present is not contained in the provisions of the present act. So this act seeks to do the needful by also enacting including the provision of the office of a deputy provost in the act that is sought to be enacted. So essentially this is what this bill seeks to achieve. It's a very straightforward bill, it speaks for itself. So I invite my honorable colleagues, not this time around to choose the word of Honorable Osai to approve it with spirit of light, but I would say to approve it without much ado. Thank you very much.
Any more contributor? So put the question, because it's a straightforward bill. And the question is that the bill be now read the second time. Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against it say nay. The ayes have it. Clerks invited to read the long title of the bill.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, the bill for now to repeal the Federal Colleges of Education Act 1986 and then the Federal Colleges of Education Bill and for related matters. Second reading.
The bill is referred to Committee of the Whole. Honorable Akinjo, I think you're taking your motion tomorrow. I forgot completely and we have gone past matters of urgent public importance. Tomorrow, okay. The fourth order of the day is commencement of debate on general principles of a bill for an act to amend the Education Minimum Standards and Establishment of Institutions Act, Chapter E3, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, and for related matters, standing the name of the House Leader. Honorable members will recall that the bill was transmitted from the Senate seeking concurrence of the House and read the first time on Tuesday, 7th May 2019. I now invite the leader to move that the bill be now read a second time.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, my name is Mayl. I represent Martin Moguno, Ganze Federal Constituency of Borno State. I hereby move for a bill for an act to amend the Education Minimum Standards and Establishment of Institutions Act and for related matters be read the second time. I so move.
Chairman, Rules and Business. Can you second, please?
Honorable Speaker, honorable colleagues, may I second the second reading of the bill as moved by the acting leader of the House? I so second.
Leader, please lead the debate.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, I remain Mohammed Tahir Munguno. I represent Martin Munguno, Ganze Federal Constituency of Borno State. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, equally this bill is a bill that came for concurrence from the Senate and is craving the indulgence of these hollowed chambers to concur with the provisions of this bill so that it will be enacted to a law. And essentially what this bill seeks to achieve is to amend the Minimum Educational Standards Act to bring it in conformity with international best practice and also to bring it in tandem with our technological age so that our educational curricula will emphasize more of practical knowledge than theoretical knowledge, so that at the end of the day, the graduates that are being churned out of our educational institutions can be employable and can also be even self-employed rather than chasing non-existing white-collar jobs across the nooks and crannies of this country. Again, what this bill essentially seeks to achieve is educational matters related to our brothers and sisters that are physically and mentally challenged has been relegated to the background over the years. So essentially what this bill seeks to do is to carry along, to give a sense of belonging to our brothers and sisters that are mentally and physically challenged, so that they can be given the opportunity to be educated in an atmosphere that is conducive, having regard to their circumstance in life. That aspect of our education that is supposed to cater for this class of Nigerians over the years has been relegated to the background. So this bill also seeks to incorporate this provision so that this class of Nigerians would also be given the education, the much needed education in an atmosphere that is in consonance with their circumstances in life, so that they can contribute meaningfully to national development and also have a sense of belonging as Nigerians. Then, Mr. Speaker, honorable members, in order to avert or to nip in the bud the ugly scenario of proliferation of satellite campuses that will have adverse or negative effect on the quality of our education, this bill seeks to discourage the proliferation of satellite centers that is being operated by our higher institutions, so that they can only operate in their primary area of location rather than proliferation of satellite centers across the nooks and crannies of the country, with all the attendant effect of having negative impact on the quality of education in our country. So essentially that is what this bill seeks to achieve. And once again, I invite my colleagues to support the second reading of this bill without much ado. Thank you.
Honorable Sai.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Distinguished honorable colleagues, I represent the Kwani Federal Constituency of Delta State. Mr. Speaker, if I stand here to support this bill, that means I don't know really what I'm doing in the floor of this house. Ordinarily, we're supposed to be equipped with really issues of the amendment, which has not been distributed to us. Yes, it's a bill coming from the Senate, but this is a very important issue. We want to know what are the criteria, the minimum standard that must be put in place. And up till now, we don't have it. So how can we debate on this issue? That's no issue. He has not provided us with that information. I'm not in this National Assembly here to concur. I'm in National Assembly to do good laws. And in doing good law, I must know the criteria upon which I'm making decisions. And that foundation has not been provided.
acting leader. You provided it to yourself. You are supposed to serve me. It has not been provided. So making a decision on what basis are we making that decision as a wise councils of the Green Chambers? Of course, you make decisions based on great wisdoms because you have analyzed probably the data as presented to you. But at this point in time, there's no data for us to agree with him or disagree. So, Mr. Speaker, I urge that you step this bill down.
Leader, what do you say to this?
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, with all respect to Honorable Osai, the nitty-gritty of the bill will be laid there before him in the course of consideration in the committee of the whole. We are here for a debate on the general principles of the bill and the second reading stage of the bill. And I have copiously and strenuously did my best to highlight the general principles of the bill in the course of the second reading of the bill. And this bill, as I said earlier on, it came for concurrence from the Senate. The Senate is inviting us to concur, and it's going to come to the committee of the whole where the nitty-gritty of the bill will be laid bare for discussion and dissection by members on the floor of this House. But with regard to the general principle of this bill, at this stage, I have strenuously highlighted what this bill seeks to achieve. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Well, Honorable Osai, you should know that this is a bill from the Senate. The Senate is a co-equal house of Parliament, and it is presumed, unless it is rebutted, that they have done the proper thing in the process of crafting and passing this bill, including committing it to a committee, including public hearing. It must have been scrutinized by all the stakeholders before it was passed by the Senate. So the general rule is that when you have a bill of concurrence, the presumption is that everything, all the steps necessary have been complied with, except you have any issue to the contrary why we shouldn't concur, then you can raise it. But to begin to say that if you concur, it means you don't know what you're doing here, I don't think that's the question. The question is that the Senate, which is a co-equal House of Parliament, have thoroughly scrutinized this bill and they have passed it. So except you have specific objection to some provisions, we will presume that the right thing was done, and more so we're not just passing it, it's going to the committee of whole where the whole details of the bill will be laid bare for any objections, modifications, and so on and so forward.
For purposes of tomorrow, Mr. Speaker, any bill coming before this House must go in line with the rules of the House. And the rules of the House say there must be first reading and second reading. And in second reading, compendium of that bill must be given to all members. And if that is true to our rules, it then means any bill coming from Senate must be subjected to the rules of the House of Representatives. And that is why it's been taken in the second reading. And in second reading, the compendium of that bill must be provided to all members. And what is the purpose of providing the compendium to members? The purpose of it is to avail members the clauses by clauses detail of that bill for members to be able to analyze. And I hope I'm speaking the minds of this House. And if I'm doing that, I believe, Mr. Speaker, this bill has not met the criteria of the rules of the House as of now. That is why, in the wisdom of both people who craft the both chambers legislature, is to check the autocracies of one chamber. If not, we would have had one chamber. But because the Constitution envisages an autocracy of one chamber should not be tolerated. And that is why the Senate have their rules and the House of Rep have their rules. That anything emanating from the House of Rep to the Senate must be subjected to Senate rules. And on this ground, this bill has not met the rules of the House. Because one of the rules and criteria of the House rules is that compendium of that bill must be provided. And at this point, the compendium of that bill has not been provided.
He is pointing at the compendium Osai. And for this bill to be here, it means that it must have been gazetted. Otherwise, we won't even take the first reading. And if the details are there in the gazette, the only problem you have is the compendium, which is here. You may wish to avail yourself of the compendium, and then in the course of consideration of the committee of the whole, you can raise your objections. Honorable Dambara.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, my honorable colleagues. I remain Honorable Damburam Abakanu, representing Kano Municipal, the only gentleman from the municipality in the whole of the Green Chambers, and I am from Kano State. Mr. Speaker, my honorable colleagues, I rise to support my honorable colleague, Honorable Osai, Nicholas Osai. Mr. Speaker, I want to draw the attention of the House that the bill in question that we're talking about is a bill that has to do with a very important component of our nation, which is education. For us to come and just brush it like that without looking at the nitty-gritty of the bill, or having the opportunity of looking at the nitty-gritty of the bill, I think we're not being fair to perhaps maybe the debate of the bill. So to me, it is important for us to have the compendium of this bill, or rather, we should have something that we can look at. It will give us an opportunity. It doesn't mean that if the Senate has passed it, we'll just come here and rubber stamp. We will have the opportunity of looking at it. Maybe, perhaps, maybe we might be able to see things they might have not had the opportunity of seeing. And I think that is the whole essence why bills pass in one house do go to the other house for concurrence. So I will urge the House that we should have this opportunity, Mr. Speaker, of looking at this bill critically, so that we can do justice to the debate or to the second reading of this bill. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, my honorable colleagues.
Honorable Dambaram, you should note that at this level, we're not looking at the nitty-gritties of the bill. That will come at the committee or the whole level. What we're doing here is just to discuss the general principles. That's what the second reading is meant for, general principles, not nitty-gritties of the bill. But the nitty-gritties will be considered in the committee of the whole, which the bill must pass through to become law. So it's like you're jumping the gun. Honorable Nenna.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, sir. Nenna Ledu KJ, member representing Pende Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, sir, I'm from Abia State. Mr. Speaker, I have seen several bills like this pass through the floor of the National Assembly of the House of Representatives. And your words from the chair, from the exalted chair, are always, this is a straightforward bill. And I believe that the reason for this, for your thought process, and Mr. Speaker, this is not me climbing into your head in any way, is because we understand the absolute importance of education at this stage of our country's development. And therefore, while I recognize that there may be some issues, and you have again from the exalted chair said to us that the details and the fine lines will be looked at in the committee of the whole. I see, can I finish?
Sir, you should allow her to complete. No.
I'm raising a point of order on her.
But let her finish her submission, then you raise your point of order.
No, but I can raise it now.
No, you can't cut her midway.
How?
Let her finish her submission, then you raise the point of order on the basis of what she has said. Please.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, sir, for protecting me from the chair, and as usual, for your very wise counsel. Mr. Speaker, sir, I would say that it is my fervent hope that my colleagues will, in the spirit of everything that we hold here when it comes to bills of this nature, that we should allow this nature, in your words, Mr. Speaker, a straightforward bill, for you to put the question without further delay so that we can go to the committee of the whole, and whatever concerns might dear colleagues will be addressed at that stage. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
What's the point of order?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Speaker. My point of order is order 12, rule 2, sub rule 2. Bills from the Senate and members shall also be forwarded to the Speaker. The Speaker shall cause such bills to be numbered and published in the schedule of bills. 4. A printed copy of the bill shall, as soon as possible, be sent to every member. On receipt of the bill from the Speaker, the Rules and Business shall schedule the bill for the first reading and others. Such bills has not been sent to any members. 1. Also 3. Order 12, Rule 1, Sub 3. On the introduction of a bill, a compendium or background information shall be delivered to all members. And if it is an amending bill, an up-to-date consideration of the act or acts to be amended shall be delivered unless the bill amended and act amended previously in the section. 2. If all bills emanating from the President, I think I've rounded up.
I thought you want to read the whole rules. Honorable Jagaba.
Honorable colleagues, thank you very much. First and foremost, in the spirit of oneness, we have bills in the same manner that were sent to Senate. And they believe we did our jobs and they just simply concord. And some of these bills includes my friend's bill outside. They concord. They simply concord. Well, if somebody is insisting, Mr. Speaker, I would love to move a motion that the House do set aside all relevant rules to adopt this submission from Senate, and we pass. But they did the same thing for us, Mr. Speaker.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, he didn't point out specifically at the rules that was breached. You talked about the gazetting. The gazette has been done, otherwise we wouldn't even do the first reading in the first place. You're talking about compendium. Compendium is there already. So what is it? What is it again? Honorable Ali.
Mr. Speaker, my honorable colleagues, I believe some of our colleagues are misunderstanding this issue. This is an issue that has been ongoing in this House. When we have a first reading, a second reading, when we are concurring something that has been done in the Senate, this has always been the procedure. Maybe some of my friends, like Honorable Ambaran, did not really grasp the issues. This is a straightforward issue, Mr. Speaker. He has whatever we want. When we come to debate the whole bill, that is when you would ask for details. But now, he's just going to give us a brief background, what it contains. And that's all. So I believe we should move ahead. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable colleagues, the question is that the bill be now read the second time. Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against it say nay. Ayes have it. Clerks invited to read the long title of the bill. That's the beauty of democracy.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, the bill for now to amend the Education Minimum Standard and Establishment of Institutions Act, Cap 3 Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, and for related matters. Second reading.
Bill referred to the Committee of the Whole. Honorable Sergius, approach the chair. Third order of the day is commencement of debate on general principles of bill for an act to repeal the Federal Colleges of Education Act 1986 and enact the Federal Colleges of Education Bill and for related matters, standing in the name of the House Leader, I thought that's the one we took. Are we taking this? But we're taking the fourth minimum standards, yes. Okay. I think we're on the fifth order of the day, which is commencement of debate on General Principles Bill for to repeal the Maintenance Order Act, Chapter M1, Laws of Federation of Nigeria 2004, and for related matters, standing in the name of Honorable Zakari Mohammed. Honorable members will recall that the bill was read the first time on Thursday, 10th December 2015. I now invite Honorable Mohammed to move that the bill be now read the second time.
Honorable Speaker, I apply to move this bill because I'm also a co-sponsor, though because of the printer's devil, my name did not appear there, even as the chairman of the Rules and Business. So may I apply to move this bill as a co-sponsor yes, as a co-sponsor of the bill. I was saying I'm the co-sponsor of the bill, though my name did not appear there, so may I apply to move for the second reading of the bill on behalf of my colleague Zakari Mohammed.
Yes, in view of the fact that we don't have much time, who is seconding? Seconder. Honorable Kila Hassan Yuguda.
Right, Honorable Speaker, Honorable colleagues, my name is Honorable Yuguda Hassan Kila. I represent Guaram Federal Constituency and from Jigawa State. I rise to second the bill, ably moved by Honorable Zakari. I so second.
Honorable Pajo, please lead the debate.
Honorable Protestant. Thank you, Honorable Speaker, Honorable colleagues. Mr. Speaker, Honorable colleagues, this bill is an act to repeal the Maintenance Order Act, Cap M1, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004. Mr. Speaker, my colleagues, this is a very old law dating to colonial times. As a matter of fact, the first time the law was enacted was in 1921 as number 8, and then 1929 also. The long title of the bill itself is instructive and it tells us the reason why we are seeking to repeal this bill and remove it from our statute books. The long title of the bill reads, an act to facilitate the enforcement in Nigeria of maintenance orders made in England or Ireland and vice versa. Now, this law was made in colonial times for the sake of English people and Irish people on issue of their dependence. Whenever there are probably matrimonial issues that concern English or Irish families, the court in Nigeria, which was then one of the colonial territories, were given the power to have jurisdiction in such matters, and when after adjudication, if the court saw fit, they could make orders for maintenance of dependents or children of or wards of the families that probably decrease, nicely or absolute, that is divorce, after divorce proceedings will have been made. Now, Mr. Speaker, from the long title of the bill, this bill was applicable to the Republic of Ireland and England. I'm not go to Nigeria. At that time, it's understandable because there are some Irish citizens that were in Nigeria working. There are also English people in Nigeria working. But since that time, even after independence, I want to submit that this particular law is no longer relevant because we are not Irishmen, we are not Englishmen, and there is no part of this law that has any relationship with Nigerians. That's the reason why we are bringing this law so that it be repealed, so that it no longer be in our statute books, because we are not Irish, neither are we Englishmen. As a matter of fact, even for the Irish and the English, they have since amended so many portions of this very old legislation. You would know that they also have issues of same-sex marriage and all that, which have been legalized both in England and in Ireland, which is not the same as in Nigeria. So it's better for us to completely remove this from our statute books so that it will not maybe embarrass us sometime in the future. That's the synopsis of this bill. I urge honorable colleagues to please pass this bill at second reading. Thank you.
Sorry, any more contributions? Any more contributions? So I put the question. The question is the bill be now read the second time. Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against it say nay. Ayes have it. Clerk is invited to read the long title of the bill.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, the bill for now to repeal the Maintenance Order Act, Chapter N1 Laws for the Federation of Nigeria 2004 and for related matters. Second reading.
The bill is referred to Committee of the Whole. Sixth order of the day is a motion on rescission of clauses 2, sub 2 of the bill for an act to repeal the Money Laundering Prohibition Act 2011 and enact the Money Laundering Prevention and Prohibition Bill and for related matters pursuant to Order 9, Rule 16 of Standing Orders of the House of Representatives, standing in the name of Honorable Edward G. Pajok. Honorable Pajok is now invited to move the motion.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, Honorable colleagues. Mr. Speaker, this motion is on the need to resign clauses, Clause 2, Sub 2 of the Bill for an Act to repeal the Money Laundering Prohibition Act 2011 and enact the Money Laundering Prevention and Prohibition Bill and for related matters. The House notes that on Wednesday, the 15th of May 2019, consideration of the report on the Money Laundering Prevention and Prohibition Repeal and Enactment Bill was resumed, aware that the key phrase in Clause 2, Sub 2, which reads, ought reasonably to have known or suspects, was deleted. Informed that the deleted clause is the very essence of criminal investigation and if deleted would significantly compromise criminal investigation, particularly with regard to money laundering. Also notes that investigation is different from prosecution, as investigation may or may not lead to prosecution. Also aware that a suspect can be invited for questioning by the police, but it's only when there is sufficient evidence that the suspect is charged to court as an accused person. Cognizant that citizens have a duty to report to law enforcement agencies when anyone is suspected of committing a crime, and this phrase is contained in most crime-fighting laws, an example of which is Section 25, Sub 2 E of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency Act. The House resolves to resign its decision to delete clause 2, sub 2 of the bill and recommit same to the Committee of the Whole for reconsideration. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Any seconder? Seconder. Honorable.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My distinguished Simon Arabo is my name. I rise to second the motion moved by Honorable Bajo, also second.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against it say nay. The ayes have it. I missed it, but I was led by my leader and I believed him 100%.
Please, order.
This is motion for rescission.
Silence, please.
I've already ruled. So,
please.
We make progress. The seventh order of the day is a motion on needs.
Honorable Osai, be guided, please.
Honestly, I don't know why we'll be saying nay to a motion to rescind what we have done. If it's wrong.
Silence, please.
Seventh order of the day.
Order, honorable members, please.
Also, be very careful. At least you are noticed by the chairman rules and business. If you are challenging him, you can be sure that your motions and bills will be missing. The seventh order of the day is a motion on need for the National Assembly to approve the proposal. Honorable Aliu Madaki, what's your point of order?
I beg you, look at this vote that we just took. It is so clear. Those who said nay are more than those who supported it. Clearly, sir. Go and look at this vote again. You have video of it. I'm sure you were mistaken. You didn't hear very well. I'm sure.
No, of course I said I missed it, but I was guided by someone from the floor. So I took what he said. So, but I've ruled, Madaki, you know what the rules say. So if you sincerely believe that it was done in error, you bring another motion on notice. And of course that's what the rule says. So you can't approbate and reprobate. So I'm not an angel, I'm not meant to be perfect, always. So if I got it wrong, bring a motion so that we can correct it. Finish.
Once it passed, so be it.
Bring a motion on notice for us to correct it. That's all. The seventh order of the day is a motion on need for the National Assembly to approve the proposal of the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) to create two state constituencies for Moshongo State constituency of Benue State, standing in the name of Honorable Edward Pajok and one other honorable member. Honorable Pajok is now invited to move the motion.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the House notes that Section 91 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as amended, provides that, subject to the provisions of this Constitution, the House of Assembly of the State shall consist of 3 or 4 times the number of seats that state has in the House of Representatives, divided in a way to reflect, as far as possible, nearly equal population. Also note, the same section provides that the House of Assembly of the State shall consist of not less than 24 and not more than 40 members. Further note that Section 112 of the 1999 Constitution provides that, subject to the provisions of Section 91 and 113 of the 1999 Constitution, the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) shall divide every state in the Federation into such number of state constituencies as is equal to 3 or 4 times the number of federal constituencies within that state. aware that Section 113 of the Constitution provides that the boundaries of each state constituency shall be such that the number of inhabitants thereof is as nearly equal to the population quota as is reasonably practicable. Also aware that Section 114 of the 1999 Constitution provides that the Independent National Electoral Commission shall review the division of every state into constituencies at intervals of not less than 10 years and may alter such constituencies in accordance with the provisions of this section to such extent as it may consider desirable in the light of the review. Cognizant that Benue State has 11 federal constituencies and 29 state constituencies. Also cognizant that by the constitutionally prescribed threshold of minimum number of state constituencies per state, Benue State should have a minimum of 33 state constituencies. Further aware that the Federal High Court sitting in Abuja had on 13th January 2005, in the case of Ushongo Local Government Council and 3 others against the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, suit number FHC ABJ CS 562/2004, delivered a consent judgment ordering the Independent National Electoral Commission to restore the suppressed state constituency in Ushongo Local Government. Finally, equally aware that on the 19th of November 2015, the Federal High Court in suit number FHC MKDCS 398/2015 between Ushongo Local Government and 3 others against INEC gave an enforcement order directing INEC to comply with his judgment of 13th January 2005 by conducting elections in each of the 2 constituencies by whatever name called. Equally notes that the persistent refusal of INEC to obey the court orders led to a petition being laid in the House of Representatives on the 21st of April 2016, which petition was referred to the Committee on Public Petitions, which in turn laid its report on 27 September 2016. Informed that the report of the Committee on Public Petitions was considered on 29th of September 2016, and the single recommendation in the said report was to urge INEC to restore the 2 state constituencies and conduct elections as ordered by the court within 90 days of the resolution being adopted and by the House, and a resolution was passed to that effect. Concerned by the seeming unwillingness of INEC to comply with the resolution to conduct elections in the 2 state constituencies, that is Ushongo, Mata and Ushongo 1, Bagua in Benue State during the 2019 general elections. Acknowledge that even though INEC did not timeously take steps to fully comply with the orders of the court and the resolution of the House, it has, however, taken steps to comply with the court judgment by consulting all stakeholders and undertaking another trotting exercise to map the boundaries of the area concerned. Also acknowledges the receipt of a proposal from INEC dated 27th November 2018, requesting the National Assembly to approve the creation of 2 state constituencies from Ushongo State Constituency in Benue State. Resolves: 1. Approve the proposal by the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, that the boundaries of Ushongo State Constituency may alter by creating 2 state constituencies as designated below. 1. Mata State Constituency comprising Ikof 2, Mbagba 07, Mbagwaza 08, Mbaye 10, Mutange 11, then 2. Mbagwa State Constituency comprising Ari Kese 01, Lesel 03, Mbaka 04, Mbayan 15, Mbawe 06, Mbaku 09. Forgive me, I'm not a team man. So this, and then to seek the concurrence of the Senate. I so move, honorable colleagues.
Benjamin West, second.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues. I am Honorable Benjamin Yorembe Wayo. I do represent the good people of Kwande Ushongo Federal Constituency. I am from Benue State. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I stand up to second the motion as ably, eloquently, adequately moved by the able chairman, rules and business. I so second.
Honorable colleagues, this is the second request from INEC for the creation of the state constituency, this time again in Benue State. Last time we considered the request from INEC for a state constituency, but it was in a different constituency in Benue State after both the Supreme Court judgment and the resolution of this House. This time around, we also considered another separate request from INEC, which is constitutionally saddled with the responsibility of eliminating either constituencies or making a case for the creation of another state constituency in line with section 114 and 115 of the Constitution. This has to do with Ushongo State Constituency. Honorable colleagues, like you heard from the motion that I just read, the Constitution says that each state should have not less than, that's the House of Assembly, should have not less than 3 times the number of members of the state in the National Assembly. Benue State has 11 members now in the House of Representatives. If you multiply 11 times 3, you get 33. But now they have 29 members of the Benue State House of Assembly, which is 4 short of the 33 minimum as stipulated by the Constitution. What is more, apart from that breach of the Constitution, the constituency concerned took the pains to go to court, and the court made an order that the constituency should be restored. In fact, the word used there is that it was suppressed, meaning that it used to exist in times past. However, in the process of making new constitutions, that constituency was suppressed or it was relegated. So since by section 114 and 115, INEC has been given the responsibility of creating new state constituencies, but only with the approval of the National Assembly. INEC, when it went through its records, found that there was even a consent judgment. The judgment in the Federal High Court was a consent judgment. That means all the parties in the matter, both the plaintiffs and the defendants, all agreed that that constituency should be created. So it means that the federal government itself, which was in the matter, they agreed, INEC agreed, and also for the plaintiffs. So, honorable colleagues, let us accede to this request for the creation of another constituency. Thank you very much.
So, this motion is based on Supreme Court judgment and INEC request. Federal High Court. Okay. Honorable Bonta.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Revered honorable colleagues, I've listened attentively to the mover of this motion and have read the motion painstakingly. I'm of the sound view that we must give backing to orders of our court. Mr. Speaker, what the motion is asking is also in consonance with section 114 of the Constitution, of which INEC by default are not complying to. If you permit me to read, it says, the Independent National Electoral Commission shall review the decision of every state into constituencies at intervals of not less than 10 years. Mr. Bada, we are not just testing water with this. We are only allowing the court orders to be immediately carried out as to other areas requiring review to be attended by INEC. It's better done now that elections are concluded so that by the next 4 years, other constituencies as created will be ripe for. I therefore, without altering the prayers of this motion, with all sense of legislative duties, say that INEC should be given the power to conclude this and permitted to go to other states and also do the needful. I therefore support the motion and all the prayers. I so speak, Mr. Speaker.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Honorable Yusuf. I represent the record Oloruda, Orodo Osogbo Federal Constituency. I'm from the state of Osun. My own is just an observation. I support the motion because the 2 times this motion have come to the floor, I supported it because we have a similar situation in my state where 2 local governments in 4 places are joined together to produce 1 state constituency. But if you look at this motion, I just want us to take note of something. There is a lacuna in the constitution that we have to henceforth find a way of curing. I'm looking at that lacuna from my own mathematical end. Is that in one breath, the constitution says State House of Assembly cannot be less than 24. In another breath, the same constitution says you can only have 3 times or 4 times the number of the federal constituency that you have. That is contradictory, because if you look at INEC as of today, or you look at our state assembly, they've satisfied the first condition, which is superior to the other condition, that as long as the state house of assembly does not have less than 24, that is superior to the 3 times or 4 times. So if we want INEC to do something that is global about our constituencies, and we want whatever they must have carried out on the constituency to reflect in terms of the numbers of members we have in the House of Assembly, one of those 2 provisions must go. Because as long as each state has a minimum of that 24, they have satisfied the constitution, and that is what is reasonable. The motion is in order. I'm not against it. I don't want whoever that is contributing to mistreat what I'm saying. But it's a lacuna. Because in one breath, the provision says a state must not have less than 24. In another breath, the same constitution says you must have 3 to 4 times. There is no way, either mathematically or in logic, that you can marry those 2 conditions. One runs against the other. But the basic minimum of 24 has been satisfied. So if we want whatever review INEC wants to do in future, whatever review they want to do in future, so that it will reflect, because some of our states are bigger now in terms of, if not in land mass, because land is fixed, it's bigger in terms of population and in terms of infrastructural need of each constituency, because those are the factors that will be taken into consideration when you are reviewing the constituencies. So I would want, although it's coming late, I was not well aware of the other provision of the 24. We would have taken it along in our constitutional alteration. One of that provision must go. That's my observation, but outside that, the motion is perfect, because once this one is taken and is corrected, those of us constituencies even in court. That's why I said I will look for the judgment and see whoever that's taking over to take it up. But the observation that one of the conditions in the constitution must go for the other, so that whatever review INEC is going to do in future will be properly taken care of.
Honorable Jagaba.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, Honorable colleagues. Honorable Jagaba, Adam Jagaba is my name, representing Kachaka Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, Honorable colleagues, this is a straightforward motion that we need to give support for. First and foremost, there's a standing court judgment, which INEC did not even appeal, and the time for appeal has lapsed. Realizing that, that's why they officially wrote to this House that we should give our input by giving approval. They are rather seeking approval for us to give this approval. So, Honorable Speaker, some of us that have similar cases or worse cases or something near worse, this is a window for us to take legal steps to address these issues in our various states and local governments or constituencies. But for now, I want to urge my colleagues that we should just allow this for smooth sail to go, since it's on request, that we should please give approval for that. And I pray that if this come to pass, all other subsequent problems we have in our state, this Benue case must have served as a foundation for us to build on. So in as much as we believe this can set up this foundation, I urge my honorable colleagues to support this, and so that we can move to the next item. Please, Mr. Speaker, I so move. Thank you very much.
Okay, Honorable Wayo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues. I am Honorable Benjamin Yorembe Wayo. I represent the group of Wande Oshongo Federal Constituency. I am from Benue State. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I urge this hallowed house chambers to allow the passage of this motion. Mr. Speaker, this has been on since 2016, as stated in the motion and as argued and moved by the Chairman Rules and Business. Mr. Speaker, if this motion says true, it will fulfill Mr. Speaker's promise to my constituency when Mr. Speaker visited my constituency, and then there was this request and a cry by my constituents, elders of my constituents, which put across a request to you in order to restore the suppressed state constituency. Mr. Speaker, this will also be bringing to pass the decision of the Public Petitions Committee that took a decision that INEC should obey the court orders and conduct elections within 90 days. That decision was taken in 2016, and today we are in 2019. Mr. Speaker, I also want to use this channel to also say, in as much as INEC delayed in obeying the resolution of this House, paid the petition that was presented before it, I want to nevertheless commend the efforts of the chairman of INEC in respect of this, because this judgment, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, was gotten on the 13th, or rather was delivered on the 13th day of January 2005. And we are in 2019. And no, INEC refused to obey the decision, to comply with the decision of the court, until we came here and complained to the House. And even then, they dragged their feet. And it is just on the 27th of November 2018 that they put across this request that the House do approve their proposal to restore the suppressed state constituency in Ushongo local government of Benue State. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I urge you in the interest of justice, in the interest of fairness, to support this motion. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, honorable colleagues.
The Honorable Zoro.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, my honorable colleagues. I remain Sani Zoro, representing Gumel Gagarawa Sule Amegatari Federal Constituency in Jigawa State. Honorable Speaker, briefly, I want, in supporting this very important motion, apart from the reasons adduced by the sponsor of the motion and the supporters, I want to say that this is the time, now that INEC is through with the 2019 elections, to be able to give effect to the court order. And since, like other colleagues have argued, this particular issue is cross-cutting and generic to many, many states, this is the time that the National Assembly should encourage and support the Independent National Electoral Commission to organize this very exercise before the 2023 election. I remember when this debate was brought sometime in 2014, it was clear, a similar debate, that the then leadership of INEC had wanted to venture into the exercise, but it feared that because of the election, the 2015 election, which was just around the corner, it would not be possible to conduct the exercise as well as hold the election without causing unnecessary tension as well as other issues in the polity. But now that we have 4 clear years to the next round or cycle of election, I think we should encourage INEC to begin by giving effect to the court order in this particular case in Benue State, and then go on to implement, that delineation exercise. Thank you very much. The delimitation exercise. Thank you very much.
Any more contribution? I'll put the question. Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against it say nay. I serve it. We have a supplement to the other paper. Honorable Benny, I thought you have a bill here. There's a supplement on the Federal Polytechnic Langtang. Next order of the day is commencement of debate on general principle of bill for act to provide for establishment of Federal Polytechnic Langtang Plateau State and for related matters standing in the name of the House Leader. Okay. Honorable members who recall that the bill was transmitted from the Senate seeking concurrence of the House and read the first time on Wednesday, 13 March 2019. I invite the Leader of the House to move that the bill be now read the second time. Permanent Acting Leader. Leader, there's a bill here for federal establishment of Federal Polytechnic Langtang. Maybe you don't have it there as a supplement, so clerk will give you a copy of the. So all bills outstanding, we just have to walk them through because of lack of time.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, my name is Mohamed Tahir Munguno. I represent Marti Munguno Ganze Federal Constituency of Borno State. I hereby move for a bill for an act to provide for establishment of Federal Polytechnic Lantang, Plateau State, and for related matters be read the second time. I so move.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Benny Lara, representing the North and South Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, it's a very straightforward bill. This bill emanated from the Senate, and the bill seeks to have a tertiary institution.
You are seconding, you are not debating.
I hereby second. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable colleagues, this is a straightforward bill. I don't think we'll waste time debating it like others. I'll put the question. Question is the bill be now read the second time. Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against it say nay. Elizabeth, clerk is invited to read the long title of the bill.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, the bill for now to provide for establishment of the Federal Polytechnic Lantang, Plateau State, and for related matters. Second reading.
To the Committee of the Whole. Next order of the day is resumption of the general principle of bill for an act to establish Chartered Institute of Forensic and Investigative Professionals in Nigeria for effective regulation, registration of members, and determination of what knowledge and skills that a practitioner is required to attain in order to qualify to practice as a forensic and investigative professional for related matters. Honorable members will recall that on Tuesday, 7th May 2019, debate on the bill was adjourned to enable the Committee on Rules and Business examine the bill vis-a-vis the other bill on forensic auditors and report back to the House. I now invite Honorable Edward Patrick to brief the House on the matter.
Honorable Speaker, honorable colleagues.
Okay.
A short one. Looked at both bills. That's the former bill was negative. The one for the establishment of Institute of Forensic Auditors, and this one which seeks to establish the Institute of Forensic Professionals. The first point is that we went to the Constitution. We saw that item 49 of the Constitution of the country provides that the National Assembly, or there are professional occupations as may be designated by the National Assembly. Now this means that the National Assembly has the unfettered power to establish professional occupations or associations as they deem fit. So there is no conflict with the powers of the National Assembly. However, the narrow issue that we are advising us on is on whether there is a conflict with the extant regulation on issue of establishment of Chartered Institute of Auditors in Nigeria. Mr. Speaker, we went through the present bill of Honorable Abota, and the bill is not talking about auditors, it's talking about chartered forensic professionals, which includes criminologists, cyber crime specialists, even lawyers, even police detectives. They are all included in this particular occupation or in this bill because there are forensic applications of their various professional disciplines. So, in the main, we are not seeing any fundamental conflict. More so, that at the time that the House took a decision to negative the bill on the establishment of Chartered Institute of Auditors, there was a unanimous opinion here that if the word audit is removed from that particular bill, then the bill could fly. Well, from the title of this bill itself is Chartered Institute of Forensic Professionals, not auditors. And may I say that we also saw that in view of some of the points highlighted by the Deputy Chief Whip on the word auditor appearing in some sections, it is the view of the Committee of the Rules and Business that in the Committee of the Whole, some of those references could be deleted or amended by removing them if some people still feel very strongly about
particular issue. So, in the whole, it's our view that the debate should continue, and if members pass it, then we take it to the committee of the whole, and further panel meeting can still be done at that stage. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable, please move that the debate do resume.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I remain Zoman Kimabonta. Prepared honorable colleagues, may I move that we will resume the debate for a bill for an act to establish the Chartered Institute of Forensic and Investigative Professionals in Nigeria for the selection and promotion of membership be done. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Hassan.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleague Hassan Saleh. I represent the people of Ado, Obani Wokoku Federal Constituency. I rise to support the motion for the commencement of this debate. I so second.
Honorable Aponta, just
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleagues, we've done a lot of debate and arguments on this matter. I will not bother you much again, but to highlight the time that at times like this, when fraud had taken sophisticated matter and forensic matter, we also need such forensic systems to decode, to analyze, to prevent, and to discover fraud. Mr. Speaker, all over the world and all climes, you have forensic experts that handle such matter. Therefore, we've come to the National Assembly to ask for the power to have the authority to do the business of forensic in busting fraud and preventing fraud. It's the first of its kind in Nigeria, and I pray that we should please do good legislation to ensure that this comes to be. I pray members to let it be, and please, and the Speaker should not only let it be, and commit to the committee of the whole House, that we may do the needful as we have in other African neighboring countries that have checked their own fraud. The problem of Nigeria today will not be mismanagement and misappropriation and fraud. And the cardinal principle of this government is to check fraud. Therefore, I move that the bill should have a passage at the committee level of the whole House. We can now look at the integrity of it. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Okay, I guess this bill has been thoroughly debated before. I'll put the question. The only agreement we had was that the title should be changed, and it's been changed. So I'll put the question. The question is that the bill be now read the second time. Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against it say nay. Ayes have it. Clerk is invited to read the long title of the bill.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, the bill for now to establish the Chartered Institute of Forensic and Investigative Professionals of Nigeria for effective regulation, registration of members, and determination of what knowledge and skills that the professional is required to attain in order to qualify to practice as a forensic and investigative professional and for related matters. Second reading.
Bill referred to Committee of the Whole. Consideration of reports. Eighth order of the day, honorable colleagues, consideration of the report of the Conference Committee on Bill for an Act to regulate the manufacture, importation, distribution, and quality control of fertilizer in Nigeria and for related matters. Honorable members will recall the report was laid on Thursday, 2nd May 2019. Honorable Mohammed Tahir Monguno will move for its consideration.
Honorable Speaker, honored members, my name is Mohammed Tahir Monguno. I represent Marche Monguno, Ganze Federal Constituency of Borno State. I hereby move that the House do consider the report of the Conference Committee on a bill for an act to regulate the manufacture, importation, distribution, and quality control of fertilizer in Nigeria and for related matters be considered. I so move.
Rules and business, please second.
Honorable Speaker, may I second the conclusion of the report as moved by the acting leader of the House. I so second.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against it say nay. Ayes have it. Ninth order of the day, honorable colleagues, consideration of bill for act to repeal the Prisons Act, Chapter P, 12(9), Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, enact the Nigerian Correctional Service Bill, provide for the administration of prisons and non-custodial measures in Nigeria for related matters. Honorable members will recall that the bill was committed to the Committee of the Whole on Tuesday, 14th May 2019. Honorable Edward Giampajo will move for his consideration.
Mr. Speaker, may I move that this House do consider the report on the bill for an act to repeal the Prisons Act, P29, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, and enact the Nigerian Correctional Service Bill, provide for the administration of prisons and non-custodial measures in Nigeria and for related matters, HB 487, 516, and 517. I so move.
Any seconder? Okay, Honorable Jagaba.
Speaker, honorable colleagues, I rise to support the motion heavily moved by the chairman, Rules and Business, that the bill for an act to repeal the Prison Act Cap P29 Laws of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 2004 enact the Nigerian Correctional Service Bill to provide for the administration of prisons and non-custodial measures in Nigeria, and for related matters, I so second.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against it say nay. Ayes have it. Tenth order of the day is consideration of bill for act to provide for establishment of Federal University of Education, Plenary, and for related matters. Honorable members will recall that the bill was committed to Committee of the Whole on Thursday, 11th April 2019. Honorable Edward Giampajo will move for its consideration.
Honorable Speaker, honorable colleagues, may I move that the House do consider a report on the bill for an act to provide for the establishment of Federal University of Education, Plenary, and for related matters, HB 1617. I so move.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against it say nay. Ayes have it. 11th order of the day is consideration of bill for an act to provide for the domestication and enforcement in Nigeria of the avoidance of double taxation agreement between the Federal Republic of Nigeria and the Republic of South Korea for related matters. Honorable members will recall that the bill was committed to the Committee of the Whole on Wednesday, 17th April 2019. Honorable Edward Giampajo will move for its consideration.
Honorable Speaker, may I move that this House will consider a report on the bill for an act to provide for the domestication and enforcement in Nigeria of the avoidance of double taxation agreement between the Federal Republic of Nigeria and the Republic of South Korea and for related matters, HB 445. I so move.
Seconder? Any seconder? Honorable Arabo, please second.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My colleague Simon Honorable is my name. I rise to second the motion as moved by Honorable Kwajoga, so second.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against it say nay. Ayes have it. 12th order of the day is consideration of bill for act to amend, among other things, prohibit the use. I take that again. The 12th order of the day is consideration of bill for act to, among other things, prohibit the use, manufacture, and importation of all plastic bag used for commercial and household packaging in order to address the harmful impacts on the oceans, rivers, lakes, forests, environment, wildlife, as well as human beings, and also to relieve pressure on landfills and waste management and for related matters. Honorable members will recall that the bill was committed to the Committee of the Whole on Wednesday, 17th April 2019. Honorable Edward Giampajo will move for its consideration.
Honorable Speaker, honorable colleagues, may I move that this House will consider a report on the bill and act to, among other things, prohibit the use, manufacture, and importation of all plastic bags
used for commercial and household packaging in order to address the harmful impacts on the oceans, rivers, lakes, forests, environment, wildlife, as well as human beings, and also to relieve pressure on landfills and waste management and for related matters. HB 1437. I so move.
Any seconder? Seconder. Honorable Engineer Dao Magachi.
Honorable Speaker, honorable colleagues, my name is Engineer Magaji, member representing Burundi Federal Constituency. Speaker, I'm from Jigawa State. I rise to second the motion ably raised by Honorable Edward Pajang. I so second.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against it say nay. Ayes have it. 13th order of the day is consideration of bill for an act to provide for establishment of the Federal Capital Territory Health Insurance Agency to institute the Federal Capital Territory Health Insurance Scheme for all residents of the Federal Capital Territory and for related matters. Honorable members will recall that the bill was committed to the Committee of the Whole on Thursday, 16th May 2019. Honorable Edward Giangpajo will move for its consideration.
Honorable Speaker, honorable colleagues, may I move that this House will consider a report on a bill for an act to provide for the establishment of the Federal Capital Territory Health Insurance Agency to institute the Federal Capital Territory Health Insurance Scheme for all residents of the Federal Capital Territory and for related matters. HB 1545. I so move.
Any seconder? Honorable Mohammed.
Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues, Mohammed Usman is my name. I represent Makarfi-Budan Federal Constituency. I rise to move that the motion, probably moved by Honorable Pajok, be read for be considered by the Committee of the Whole. I so support.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against it say nay. Ayes have it. 14th order of the day is consideration of bill for an act to provide for establishment of Federal Capital Territory Primary Health Care Board and for related matters. Honorable members will recall the bill was committed to the Committee of the Whole on Thursday, 16 May 2019. Honorable Edward Giangpajo will move for its consideration.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, honorable colleagues. May I move that this House do consider a report on the bill for an act to provide for the establishment of the Federal Capital Territory Primary Health Care Board and for related matters. HB 1546. I so move.
Any seconder? Honorable Dende.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Emmanuel Memga Dende. I'm from Benue State. I stand to second the motion for consideration of the report. I so second.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against it say nay. Ayes have it. 15th order of the day, honorable colleagues, consideration of 8 reports of the Committee on Public Petitions. Honorable Zoman Kemabonta will move for their consideration. Honorable Bonta. 8 reports. Okay, Honorable Arabo is taking it.
Yes, I'm standing in for him. Just stepped out. With your leave, Mr. Speaker, may I move that, let me take all the orders as they appear. Consolidate them if you don't mind. I believe I've gotten my speaker. Simon Arabo is my name. I represent Confederate Constituency. I'm standing for Honorable Ikema Ozoma Bonta. May I move, number 15, may I move that this House do consider the report of the Committee on Port Petition on Commerce on the investigative oversight visit to the Lagos National Trade Fair Complex on the petition by K. Yakin and approve the recommendations therein. I so move. May I also move that this House do consider the report of the Committee on Port Petition by the petition by Iola Oyedepo on behalf of the youth farmers in Ejiba, Yaba West Kogi State on the alleged breach of contract by Dangote Rice Limited and approve the recommendations therein. I so move. May I also move that the House will consider the report of the Committee of Port Petitions on the petition by McDonald Memorial International Institute against Diamond Bank, Sky Bank, First Bank on financial improprieties on the institutions that approved the recommendations therein. I so move. May I also move that this House consider the report of the Committee on Poll Petition by the Federation by Ini Behe Ifyo against the Nigerian Army on flagrant disregard of judgment of a court in suit number FHC/L/789/05 between Chief Abayomi Akerele against Nigerian Army Post Exchange, NAPEX Limited, and the National Inland Waterways Authority, and approve the recommendations therein. May I also move that the House to consider the report of the Committee on Poll Petitions on the petition by MIV Legals on behalf of Master Haruna Gajere against the Nigerian Police Force on his brutal incapacitation by ex-Sergeant Yusuf Momo, and approve the recommendations therein. May I also move that the House to consider the report of the Committee on Poll Petitions on the petition by Master Edward Ingani Jim against the defunct National Electric Power Authority, not Transnational Company of Nigeria, on the illegal and premature retirement of Edward Ingani, and approve the recommendations therein. May I also move that the House to consider the report of the Committee on Poll Petition on the petition by Ibrahim Mohammed Rabi against the Nigeria Air Force on his wrongful dismissal from service, and approve the recommendations therein. And lastly, may I move that the House to consider the report of the Committee on Poll Petitions on the petition by Tioben and Nigeria Limited against Happiness National Trading Company Limited on the sale of substandard products, and approve the recommendations therein. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Osi Prestige.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable prestigious member representing Upper North Bassa Federal Constituency, I rise to second that the House to consider the reports as content number 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, and 22 as ably moved by Honorable Irabo. I so second, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against it say nay. Ayes have it. So we'll take some communications, announcements, before we resolve into committee of the whole. Composition of conference committee to harmonize differences with the Senate on the EFCC amendment bill. Membership, Honorable Edward Pajok, Chairman, Kayode Oladele, Member, Uzoma Nkema Bonta, Mohammed Nur Sharif, Dao Aliu Magaji, Jonathan Gaza Befui, Johnson Oguma. That's the conference committee on EFCC amendment bill. This is the conference committee on the Federal Institute for Industrial Research bill, House Bill 1221. Membership, Honorable Nwabua Henry Ikon Samuel, Kayode Oladele Suleiman, Seni Kangiwa, Gideon Lucas Gwani, Young Stephanus Dung Chairman, and Honorable Ben Ilar. Raw Materials Research and Development Council, Repeal and Reenactment Bill, House Bill 1220. Membership, Honorable Ofungo, Honorable Ashura Aminumani, Honorable Lam Additional Adedepo, Honorable Chisalo Bitrus, Honorable Sadiq Ibrahim, Honorable Nkem Abonta Ozoma, and the Chairman of Committee on Science, Honorable Benny, members. So, honorable colleagues, the last item is consideration of bill for act to establish institutes of forensic and investigative professionals of Nigeria for effective regulation, registration of members, determination of what knowledge and skills the practitioner is required to attain in order to qualify to practice as forensic and investigative professional for related matters. Honorable members will call the bill as committee of the whole on Tuesday, 21st May 2019. Honorable Pajok will now move for resumption of consideration.
Mr. Speaker, I don't think the report is quite ready, so I think I'll step it down.
Okay, order step down by leave of the House.
So you are going to order is what? Is it overtaken by this?
So, family and acting leader, your mic, please.
Okay.
Motion that will resolve to the committee of the whole to consider the report.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, my name is Mohamed Tahir Monguno. I represent Marche Monguno, Ganze Federal Constituency of Borno State. I hereby move that the House do resolve to your committee of the whole to consider the various reports.
Seconder, Chairman Rules and
Mr. Speaker, may I second the motion that this House do resolve to the committee of the whole to consider reports. I so second.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against it say nay. I submit. House hereby resolve to the committee of the whole in order to consider reports.
Honorable colleagues, the first report to be considered is, I think, a concurrence bill for an act to regulate the manufacture, importation, distribution, and quality control of fertilizer in Nigeria and for other related matters. I now call on the House leader, I think, to speak to the report. Am I correct?
Honorable Chairman, honorable members, this bill essentially seeks to regulate the manufacture, distribution and quality control of fertilizer because of the avalanche of adulteration of fertilizer to the extent that people nowadays sell our innocent farmers sand in the name of fertilizer, and also to stamp out quackery in the fertilizer industry, especially against the backdrop of diversification of the Nigerian economy away from oil to agriculture, not only for the purpose of attaining self-sufficiency in food production, but also to export with a view to gaining the much needed foreign exchange to deploy it to our infrastructure needs. That is essentially what this bill seeks to achieve. And we have done a conference with the Senate after setting up a conference committee, and then the Senate version, in the wisdom of the conference committee, was adopted in total.
Thank you, Chairman. This is a report consequent upon conference committee with 29 clauses and one schedule, explanatory memorandum, and the long title of the bill. So the bill is adopted as presented. The next report to be considered is still, I think it's an amendment bill. No.
Chairman, no, this bill, the president it had even been passed, the president declined assent.
No, so, Pajok, do you know what? I've not mentioned any bill, and you are contributing. I've not mentioned anything. Okay, now if you can be of help, it's a bill that is saying repeal the Prisons Act, Chapter P29 laws of the Federation of Nigeria, and enact the Nigeria Correctional Service Bill, which I am aware that you have passed. But you are only presenting just one clause of the bill. And so, what happened? Chairman rules and business. We have passed this bill.
Yes, sir. It went to the president. It passed both here and in the Senate. It went to Mr. President for an assent, and Mr. President wrote back to us, and in his letter, if I may read with your permission, 2 reasons why he declined assent. He said, Section 44D of the bill, which seeks to fund the special non-custodial fund with 5% of all fines paid to the federal courts, violates the provisions of Section 81 and 84 of the Constitution as amended, which guarantees financial independence of the judiciary. And then lastly, he said the term public interest used in Section 17.5 of the bill is unnecessary and should therefore be deleted, since the phrase appears to give the Controller General discretionary powers to decide what court order is in the public interest or not. It is therefore suggested that the section should be amended to direct the Controller General to comply with the valid orders of the court after being satisfied that the order is from a court of competent jurisdiction. So, Mr. Chairman, all we have just done is to clean up the bill to take care of the concerns of the President. That's why there are only, it's only just that narrow area, not replicating the entire bill again. Thank you, sir.
Good as your argument is, the normal procedure is you should have brought the entire bill and now make, please, I will go ahead and do the job. But let's lay the procedure. The procedure is you should have brought back the entire bill and make this argument. So we will have just gone to the affected clauses and approve. So no arguments. The procedure we are approaching here, is not correct, but we'll go ahead and still do it. But it should be noted that next time when Mr. President declares assent because of observation, having cleaned up the observation, bring back the whole bill, then we just go straight to the observation. So the observation was just on 17.5A and B, and it's been cleaned up. So approved accordingly. The next report is out of House Committee, I think, on tertiary education, or is it a concurrent bill?
So, yes, this is a bill seeking concurrence with Senate.
Okay. A bill for now to provide for the establishment of Federal University of Education, Aguleri, and for other related matters. House Bill 1617, and I invite the House Leader to speak to the report. Empty.
Honorable Chairman, honorable members, this bill is an establishment bill. It seeks to establish the Federal University of Education, Aguleri. Okay, it's college of education. Okay. It was a college of education that is now sought to be upgraded to a status of a full University of Education in Aguleri, Anambra State. So I urge my colleagues to approve this bill in the course of consideration.
The bill has 28 clauses. Let's go ahead and pass them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Ado. Clause 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. First schedule, second schedule, third schedule, explanatory memorandum, long title of the bill. I'm only praying for you to be old. You're a small boy. The next report to be considered is a concurrent bill, I think, for an act to provide for domestication and enforcement in Nigeria of the avoidance of double taxation agreement between the Federal Republic of Nigeria and the Republic of Korea and for related matters. I now call on the leader of the House, I think, to speak to the report.
Mr. Chairman, the report speaks for itself. It's just to avoid double taxation between Nigeria and then the Republic of South Korea in view of the various bilateral agreements that we have between Nigeria and South Korea that seeks to promote trade for the mutual economic development of both countries. And then if there is the instances of double taxation in the course of executing bilateral agreements between these two countries, it will serve as a cog in the wheel of the bilateral agreements that was entered into between the two countries, thereby negatively affecting their economic development. So that is the essence of this bill, and I invite my colleagues to approve it in the course of its consideration.
Since it's a domestication matter, the bill is approved accordingly. Gary, what is it? Don't go and do will.
Yes, I'm just wondering why they did not change the name of the bill to read South Korea instead of just Republic of Korea.
Sorry, Honorable Shakari, sorry, I am my friend. What do you say?
Mr. Chairman, I was just lamenting why within the body of the bill, they found out that it's expedient to name the country as the Republic of Korea, a Republic of South Korea instead of Republic of Korea within the bill. But they did not find it expedient to change the long title of the bill to read South Korea.
Okay, that's a typographical, guys. You are correct. Oh. So the bill will not apply to the two Korea.
It is deliberate, sir, because if you look at clause 1 on the Committee of the Whole recommendation, it says replace the words Republic of Korea wherever the words Republic of South Korea appeared in the bill. So it is deliberate to remove South Korea because this applies to the other Korea, sir. Yes, sir.
You are satisfied with the explanation. Thank you, Pajok. Then the next report to be considered is yes, on the bill for an act to, among other things, prohibit the use, manufacture, and importation of all plastic bags used for commercial and household packaging in order to address its harmful impact to ocean, rivers, lakes, forests, environment, wildlife, as well as human beings, and also to relieve pressure on landfills and waste management and for other related matters. I think it should be it emanated from the Senate, I think. So, leader.
Honorable Chairman, honorable members, this bill seeks to achieve the fact that the use of plastic bags is very rampant, and we know its effects on the environment. Plastic bags are not biodegradable. They last for years, thousands of years in the soil, thereby affecting our agriculture. And also, nowadays, we have a lot of these plastic bags in our water bodies, the ocean and our rivers, and in the process, our aquatic environment is adversely affected in the sense that our wildlife in our rivers and in our oceans eat these plastic bags, and then also human beings consume these plastic bags that are eaten by the wildlife in the ocean, and with all its effects of carcinogenic effect on us, that is cancer. So what this bill seeks to achieve is to regulate the manufacture and then disposal of plastic bags in view of the fact that plastic bags are not biodegradable and they have adverse effects on our environment, thereby affecting our socio-economic life. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman. The bill is good, but there is one important area that it does not look at. Room should have been given to recycling. It is important because the moment this bill comes into effect, they are simply saying that plastic materials must not be seen anywhere again. And I don't know if it is accepted to, there should be a quick amendment to it. Recycling is still part of cleaning the environment, and because they are not easily degradable, it takes an average of 25 years for plastic to go into soil as part of the heart. So it has 3 clauses, so we go ahead and pass the clauses. 1, 2, 3. Explanatory memorandum, long title of the bill. I think Ogene is connected with it. You just woke up and said carry. Or his friend that is disturbing you, or friend is disturbing you there. Because while you are thinking of passing the bill of plastic bags, Fred is thinking about how to attack the governorship matter in Bayelsa. The next report is a bill for an act to provide for establishment of the Federal Capital Territory Health Insurance Agency to institute the Federal Capital Territory Health Insurance Scheme to provide comprehensive, quality and affordable healthcare services for all residents of the Federal Capital Territory and for related matter. House Bill 1545. I now call on the leader of the House to speak to the report.
Mr. Chairman, this bill is a very straightforward bill. It's an establishment bill that seeks to establish the Federal Capital Territory Health Insurance Scheme in order to ensure residents of the Federal Capital Territory in terms of health insurance, and then to make them more productive. So it's a very straightforward bill, and I urge my colleagues to approve it in the course of consideration.
Thank you, Leader of the House. The bill has 52 clauses. We go ahead and pass the clauses. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52. Schedule. It does not have explanatory memorandum. Long title of the bill. I don't know why they are not explaining. They didn't put it there. The next report to be considered is that of a bill for an act to provide for the establishment of the Federal Capital Territory Primary Healthcare Board and for related matters. I now invite the House Leader to speak to the report.
Mr. Chairman, honored members, this is an establishment bill that seeks to establish the Federal Territory Primary Health Care Board. Mr. Speaker, all the states of the Federation have similar agency. It is only the Federal Capital Territory that does not have this agency, and we cannot overemphasize the importance of primary health care to the people at the grassroots, because it is the primary health care that caters for the well-being of majority of our constituents that we represent in the grassroots. So the importance of this agency cannot be overemphasized, and therefore the Federal Capital Territory should have one. That is the essence of the bill, and I urge my colleagues to approve it in the course of consideration.
Thank you, the leader. The bill has 43 clauses. We go ahead and pass the clauses. Clause 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43. Schedule, explanatory memorandum, long title of the bill. The next report to be considered is that of the House Committee on Public Petition. And Commerce on the petition by Kaide Yakini and Co. on behalf of the Lagos International Trade Fair Complex, stakeholders against the Honorable Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Bureau of Public Enterprises, National Council of Privatization, Lagos International Trade Fair Complex Management Board, and Feedback Infrastructure Service Limited over the pending infraction at the Lagos International Trade Fair Complex. And I invite the Chairman, House Committee on Public Petition and Commerce, whoever is the lead to speak to the report.
Thank you, Chairman. Uzoman Kimabonta is my name. This is a report of the Joint Committee of Public Petition and Commerce directed by these chambers. We had to undertake a 2-day tour to Lagos Trade Fair Complex and did a thorough investigation and interviewed all the persons and the documents and came to the following conclusions at the end of it. To urge the federal governments to respect and fully adhere to the terms of the valid and substituting lease agreement with the different associations consisting of the stakeholders of Lagos International Trade Fair. Federal government had already given some leases starting to 40, 50, and 1 years, and people are doing the concession therein and they develop according to the terms. Trying to lease or concession areas already concessioned will amount to double speak and government not respecting existing laws and orders. So we also agree that the Lagos International Trade Fair Management Board be retained as an agency saddled with the management of the complex, making its rules to include suggesting and development needs of the complex upon liaison with the various associations that have an inclusive in that the vast area not leased or under any agreement should be concession, including the motel already developed and built there for effective management, that they should desist from concession already leased portions as it will amount to breach of contract. Government should be government of integrity, respecting decisions of government, and then that Mr. Olik Nigeria Limited, which was appointed by the Bureau of Public Enterprise, be invested by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission and be made to refund the outstanding rent agreed to the federal government, if any. Before this time, they had appointed one Olik Nigeria Limited to manage the place on agreed term that they will be paying 100 million per year for over a 10-year period. But we were made to understand that he did not do same thoroughly, and that brought about the confusion. So we are saying that we couldn't go into detail. It was not part of our mandate, but the relevant body else should look at it and recover whatever is outstanding or should be payable to Nigeria. That the Committee on Commerce, and the Chief Compliance be mandated to monitor the implementation and compliance of the Commerce being the supervisory committee of the trade fair, and the Chief Compliance will said should be vested with the supervisory role to see that these things, if agreed, are being carried out. Thank you, Chairman.
Abunta, your report has 6 recommendations, although we are going to come to recommendation 6. Recommendation 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, recommendation 6, Committee on Petition and Commerce, having jointly examined the petition and worked on it, your job stopped at that point. There is a substantive committee of the House, that is legislative compliance. It's entirely their job. So it's entirely their job. So I now request that you move, that the recommendation will now be, no, there is no explanation. It's entirely their job. Whatever we pass goes directly to the Committee on Legislative Compliance to see that it is compliant with those who get involved in it. So move is your committee, so it's either a bag or you move that recommendation be amended to read specifically that legislative compliance does its job.
In view of the superior argument canvassed by the chairman, I move that the recommendation 6, the last, be amended to read that the committee is saddled with compliance, being legislative compliance be made to oversee the compliance of resolutions 1 to 5. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, Obaga, second.
Mr. Chairman, honorable colleagues, I stand to second the motion heavily moved by Honorable Abonta. I saw second.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. So recommendation 6 as amended, approved. The next report is still that of the House Committee on Public Petition on the petition by Iyola Oyedepo and Company on behalf of youth farmers in Ejiba, Yabai West, Kogi State on the alleged breach of contract by Dangote Rice Mill Limited. And I invite the Chairman of the Committee on Public Petition to speak to the report.
Thank you, Chairman. This is a petition brought by some young farmers club of somewhere in Kogi State. They had an issue with the Dangote rice people. We looked at the totality of the matter and found out that there's no free lunch anywhere, and therefore we came with the two recommendations. They urged the leadership of the unemployed graduate youth farmers to render an apology to Dangote Industries Limited and Dangote Rice Limited and its staff, to urge Dangote Industries Limited to pursue vigorously more of the graduate youth farmer schemes aimed at empowering the youth and encouraging agricultural development in Nigeria.
Let me ask you a question. On that Dangote farm, have they been found at any point in time to have employed graduate youths?
No, they had a deal that whatever you produce, we will pick up from you, and I will give you a starter pack to produce. Meanwhile, they will provide the necessary tools and equipment to produce. Whatever you harvest, they will on the spot pick, that's called spot market. They will buy and then compare and then deduct what they had given you. That's what, unfortunately.
So my question is, are the graduate youths of that environment being involved in that process?
Yeah, they were involved.
They were involved.
They did a farming.
They were involved.
Yes.
Okay, if the question is affirmative, that recommendation should read, you first commend the company itself and further urge it to. That's what I want to point out. So the second recommendation, you should, at least if the company has involved graduate youths in that scheme, you commend the company, then further urge that you pursue vigorously.
That's why the second one said, urge the industry limited to pursue.
And it's the second one that I say commend and further urge.
Okay. I have meant, having listened to the superior argument canvassed by the chairman, I hereby moved to amend that the second prayer be read as follows, as thus: commend and then urge the Dangote Industries to pursue vigorously more of the graduate youth farmer scheme aimed at empowering the youth and encouraging agricultural development in Nigeria.
Thank you very much. Honorable Ogene, second the motion.
The motion ably moved by the chairman of public petition. Also second. Thank you very much.
So, recommendation 1 approved, recommendation 2 approved as amended. I've taken the question together. It has 3. Sorry. Okay. Recommendation 3. The next report is still that of the House Committee on Public Petition on the petition by McDonald Memorial International Institute against Diamond Bank, Sky Bank, and First Bank of financial impropriety on the institution. And I invite the Chairman of the Committee on Public Petition to speak to the report.
Thank you, Chairman. This is a petition brought by notable Nigerians going concern McDonald's, Baglotoki, against these banks. We looked at the matter and referred the matter to CBN for proper examination and also further recommendations. We hadn't full capacity to decode what happened. At the end of the investigation, and likely based on what the CBN also put to us, we found out that the money is even complained we have found in several other accounts of the petitioner, and we came to the single conclusion that the House should discountenance the petition for lack of merit.
Before I go on to pass this to pass this recommendation, the immediate report we considered actually had 2 recommendations, not 3. So please correct accordingly. This report has just 1 recommendation. The committee recommends that the House discontinues the petition for lack of merit. Approved. The next petition is on the petition by Inibere Effiong against the Nigerian Army on the flagrant disregard for court order in respect of the judgment in suit number FHC/L/789/5 between Chief Abayomi Akerele against the Nigerian Army Post Exchange in Apex Limited and National. I don't know what we are now invite the Chairman as Committee on Public Petition to speak to the report.
Chairman, this is another petition brought by Honorable Nigerian that wants thorough consideration of the House. The property in question is situated close to adjacent to the American Embassy in Lagos. For reasons known to the army, they came and pounded on the property and destroyed all the boats and all whatnot. This man uses the boat to ferry people who also come early to do business and so on. Army in fact held an occupation on it. The man went to court and court in clear terms gave judgment. Army won an appeal and in clear terms lost the appeal. And the man now could not enforce any of this. He had done all he was able to, so he came to the House. The House invited the army, they had no explanation to give. They kept saying they will leave and they will leave. And I think it behoves on this House to let everyone know that we are in a democratic setting. And if we do not give reasonable adherence to our court orders, then we are heading to anarchy. Hence, we came to the conclusion that the Nigerian Army Post Exchange, whatever they are called, to obey the court order in suit number, Federal High Court level in favor of Chief Abayomi, that Chief Abayomi should recover possession of the said property from Nigerian Army Post Limited and Nigerian Army and reinstate him back on the premises since the court had unambiguously and unequivocally restrained the Army Post Exchange and so on. The court even restrained them, but who carried out that restraint order? Is it the place that appears to be a very viable business waterfront near the where they now even started doing the business the man is doing and said they are doing whatever. So if they had wanted it, should not do it in a military commando way. They should go to Sambisa and take the forest and all whatnot. But here, the court said, give it to the man and all whatnot, but nobody enforces. And the man has lost revenues and business and all whatnot. If we do not correct this as a parliament, then we will be in trouble. What's going to happen? What happened here is tantamount to usurping even the court orders. Court had said, please hand them over the place and so on. So I think we should carry this recommendation with an order, and if you permit me, put the last another prayer that they should comply within even 7 days from that. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. We are not going to permit you. We are only going to consider your recommendation alone. Recommendation 1, 2, 3. The next report is still out of the House Committee on Public Petition on the petition by MIV Legas on behalf of Mr. Haruna Gajere against the Nigerian Police Force on his brutal incapacitation by ex-Sergeant Yusuf Momo. I now invite the Chairman of the Committee on Public Petition to speak to the report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is another petition by a Nigerian that is very, very sympathetic and preachable and got all. This petition has a mirrored and it showed the capacity and ability of our Nigerian police to aim correctly. The judge that this man brought the petition based on the bullet wound sustained from the Nigerian police. A senior police officer died somewhere in up Kaduna State and so on, and they had a night vigil prior to the burial. And the police enjoyed a lot of largesse of the families, including wine and tea and all whatnot. So during the 21-gun salute, lined up by policemen, while the 21 they did a 21 gun salute. A overseer police officer decided to aim 21 people, including Honorable Jagaba, and shot many down and executed this one. Live bullet. So about 3 persons or so died in that process. The person standing by Honorable Jagaba then lost the waist, a bank manager, and lost the manhood. And he brought to the committee a very pretty wife who got married about 2 years ago, and now he's been incapacitated permanently. So he went to India and all whatnot to take treatment and all whatnot. And what the police admitted, okay, we are going to pay a medical bill of about 25 million and so on. But we looked at the state of it and said, well, we'll say pay 50 million naira, and that will not even be enough to take care further and continuous treatment. What this brought out was that we must have to also, though not included here, but we must see that such ceremonies, plastic bullets ought to be used and not live ammunition. And people should not be able to take alcohol while on duty, because if not for the grace of God, we'll have lost a lot of persons, because when he had 21 gun salute, he aimed for 21 persons. But God made possible he got only 4, and he didn't get it before the vote ended. Therefore, I think that prosecution, well, it's not going to be to recommend prosecution, but I think that should also be part of what should be done, because such a person shouldn't be. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman. The report has one recommendation. You want to do amendment? Okay, Honorable Pajok.
So, though the police officer has since been retired, he's called an ex-police sergeant, I think he can still be prosecuted, because that should serve as a deterrent to other officers who may decide to either be reckless or trigger happy. So I think that we should add another recommendation to make it that the federal government or the Attorney General should prosecute ex-Sergeant Yusuf Momo to serve as a deterrent to other officers. And also, I'm even amending this 50 million, I think it should even be 100 million naira. Somebody who married a young bride just 2 years cannot even enjoy. How do you even quantify it? Because there is vicarious liability on the police to adequately train officers. So if they pay 100 million naira, they will know that they must, that they have a duty to train officers. So I think I amend from 50 million naira to 100 million naira.
Honorable Pajok, let me first of all let's take it like this. The first recommendation states, that is an award of 50 million. Is that the one you want to comment on? And you will. So let's take the first recommendation. So that second is second recommendation. Honorable Simon Arabo.
Thank you, Chair. Simon Arabo, and I like to second the proposal by Honorable Pajok. I saw second.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. So that amendment serves as second recommendation and is approved accordingly. The next report to be considered is still out of the House Committee on Public Petition on petition by Mr. Edward Ngani Jim against former National Electricity Power Authority NEPA, now Transmission Company of Nigeria TCN, on the illegal and premature retirement of Edward Ngani. I now call on the chairman as Committee on Public Petitions to speak to the report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is another report from Public Petition. The matter had started when the NEPA was there, but now defunct. At the totality of the evidence adduced, it was very clear that the termination was very, very illegal and not proper and was premature retirement. They couldn't show cause, and they came but said they had omitted his name. I had thought that was his name. So we said, well, even if they dissolve, we'll trace it that the new transmission company that took over from NEPA should be urged to reinstate Mr. Edward Ngaji immediately back to work and pay all his entitlement. Thank you.
The report has one recommendation, only that I would like the word direct be changed to urge. In view of the above findings, the committee recommends the House to urge the respondent. Is it urged that is in other paper? Okay, I'm considering report. So that means recommendation approved accordingly. I was reading from the last to be considered for today is still that of the House Committee on Public Petition on the petition by Tiobena Nigeria Limited against Happiness International Trading Company Limited on the sale of substandard products. And I invite the Chairman House Committee on Public Petition to speak to the report. I hope Standard Organization of Nigeria was involved in your...
Reports by the importer who had a case against the Tobena Nigeria Limited and Happiness International Company. There was agreement for sales of some products and I want to order it and so on. But the totality of it, we found out that they gave him what they had agreed and his own label and so on. And the Standard of Nigeria, yes, actually, like you said, had given their product a pass mark. So we looked at the agreement of purchase and all whatnot and so and say, well, we do not see any merit in the petition, we so rule.
The report has just one recommendation, and that is discontinue the petition for lack of merit. Coming back to report 21, is still that of the House Committee on Public Petition on the petition by Ibrahim Mohammed Rabiu against the Nigerian Air Force on its wrongful dismissal from service and approve the recommendation therein. I therefore call on Chairman House Committee on Public Petition to speak to the report.
I'm sorry, the Ministry returns answer. This is a petition against Nigerian Air Force. At the totality of it, we found out the dismissal was actually wrongful. And as a result of that, we ordered that the man, since he also was showing not willingness to go back to work and considering age, and do not want to wear the jacket of dismissal when it was not so, that they should convert it now to retirement, and also enable him to seek job elsewhere, and also pay him his entitlements to enable him to start life elsewhere. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
The report has two recommendations. Recommendation 1, 2, empty.
Honorable Chairman, honorable members, I hereby move that the House do but to plenary to report progress.
Chairman, rules and business.
Chairman, I second the motion that we revert back to plenary.
House hereby reverts back to plenary to report progress. The House in the Committee of the Whole considered the report of the Conference Committee on a bill for an act to regulate the manufacture, importation, distribution, and quality control of fertilizer in Nigeria and for related matters, and adopted the Conference Committee report. The House in the Committee of the Whole considered the report on a bill for an act to repeal the Prisons Act, Chapter P29 Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004 and enact the Nigeria Correctional Service Bill to provide for the administration of prison and non-custodial measures in Nigeria and for related matters, and approve the only clause therein. The House in the Committee of the Whole considered a report on a bill for an act to provide for establishment of Federal University of Education, Aguleri, and for related matters, and approved clauses 1 to 28, the schedules, the explanatory memorandum, and the long title of the bill. The House in the Committee of the Whole considered a report on a bill for an act to provide for domestication and enforcement in Nigeria of the avoidance of double taxation agreement between the Federal Republic of Nigeria and the Republic of South Korea and for related matters. Approved clauses 1 to 4 therein. The House in the Committee of the Whole considered a report of the bill for an act to, among other things, prohibit the use, manufacture, and importation of all plastic bags used for commercial and household packaging in order to address their harmful impact on the oceans, rivers, lakes, forests, environment, wildlife, as well as human beings, and also to relieve pressure on landfills and waste management and for related matters, and approved clauses 1 to 3 therein, the explanatory memorandum, and the long title of the bill. The House in the Committee of the Whole considered a report on a bill for an act to provide for the establishment of the Federal Capital Territory Health Insurance Agency to institute the Federal Capital Territory Health Insurance Schemes for all residents of the Federal Capital Territory and for related matters, and approved clauses 1 to 52, the schedule, and the long title of the bill. Abonta, what is it?
No problem. We are merely thinking aloud of a bill we just concluded. The issue of plastic bags. The one thinking aloud of the issue we just concluded, the issue of plastic bags. So there are some bags that are necessary. We may look at an amendment to it. Otherwise, total ban.
Why are you? That means you were sleeping when we were doing it.
No. I just reflecting aloud.
I said it. I said, why didn't they consider the issue of recycling? Because some of these bags, take a seat.
Some of the bags can't be recycled.
Abonta, say take a seat. The House in the Committee of the Whole considered the report on a bill for an act to provide for the establishment of Federal Capital Territory Primary Health Care Board and for related matters, and approved clauses 1 to 43, the schedule, the explanatory memorandum, and the long title of the bill. The House in the Committee of the Whole considered the report of the Committee on Public Petitions on the petition by Iyola Oyedepo and Company on behalf of youth farmers in the Yagba West, Kogi State, on the alleged breach of contract by Dangote Rice Mill, and approved recommendations and approved recommendation 1 and 2 as amended. The House in the Committee of the Whole considered the report of the Committee on Public Petitions on the petitions by McDonald Memorial International Institute against Diamond Bank, Sky Bank, and First Bank on financial improprieties in the institutions, and approved the only recommendation therein. The House in the Committee of the Whole considered the report of the Committee on Public Petitions on the petition by Inibe Effiong against the Nigerian Army on flagrant disregard of judgment of a court in suit number FHC/L1789/05 between Chief Abayomi Akerele against the Nigerian Army Post Exchange NAPEX Limited and the National Inland Waterways Authority, and approved the recommendation 1 and 2 of the report. The House in the Committee of the Whole considered the report of the Committee on Public Petition on the petition by MIF Lega on behalf of Mr. Haruna Gajere against the Nigerian Police Force on his brutal incapacitation by ex-Sergeant Yusuf Momo, and approve the only recommendation therein and approve a new recommendation too. The House in the Committee of the Whole considered the report of the Committee on Public Petitions on the petition by Mr. Edward Ngani Jim against the defunct National Electric Power Authority NEPA, now Transmission Company of Nigeria TCN, on the illegal and premature retirement of Edward Ngani and approved the only recommendation therein. The House in the Committee of the Whole considered the report of the Committee on Public Petitions on the petition by Tiobena Nigeria Limited against Happiness International Trading Company Limited on the sale of substandard products and approved the only recommendation therein. The House in the Committee of the Whole considered the report of the Committee on Public Petitions on the petition by Ibrahim Mohammed Rabiu against the Nigerian Air Force on its wrongful dismissal from service and approved the two recommendations therein. Empty.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, I hereby move that the House do adopt the reports of the Committee of the Whole.
Chairman, Rules and Business.
Honorable Speaker, may I second the motion for adoption of the report.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Empty.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, I hereby move that the House do adjourn to Wednesday, 22nd of May 2019 by 11 a.m. I so move.
Chairman, Rules and Business.
Honorable Speaker, may I second the motion for adjournment of the House to Wednesday, 22nd of May 2019. I so second.
House stands adjourned till Wednesday, 22nd of May, 11 a.m.